let's explore transcending our preconceptions of enlightenment. This evening's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question on Reddit. Is enlightenment simply realizing you are neither the body nor the mind, but merely the observer of them both? Or does it go further than that? Let us begin with broad brushstrokes before we even consider the finer details. Realization is just belief in fancy pants. Realization is just belief, but far more pretentious. Let us science belief can be best understood within the context of the trap of Devadatta. Good evening, greetings and salutations, kind Lord Kevin of Hayes, owner of the two felines, master of cinema. Excuse me. So, back to it. Let's be spiritual. Belief is best understood within the context of the trap of Devadatta. About 100 years or so before the advent of the Buddha, over in China, our friend Lao Tzu either compiled or composed the 81 poems of the Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching not only served to identify which attributes were yin and which were yang, but reminded us often to always choose yin. What has that to do with Buddhism? Well, yin and yang can be illustrated through a character study of the Buddha and his wicked cousin, Devadatta, who thought it was a splendid idea to be rigid, fearful, suspicious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Whereas the Buddha felt it was much wiser to be flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Let's simplify this lengthy list of being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, versus simply being flexible, loving, rational, and laid back. Or even tighter, rigidity versus flexibility. Belief is a rigidity of intellect, a rigidity of emotion. There is a misnomer even amongst enthusiastic Christians that they are saved by faith and faith alone, but in the book of James we are reminded that faith without works is dead. The Christ cautioned us about people who had an excess of faith being so rigid they couldn't accept refinements of their faith. We see this in science all the time. Newton gave us certain laws, and Einstein offered us refinements of those laws. With every generation or so, if we are fortunate, in science we see refinements of observations made by previous generations. And that's the way it's supposed to work. But once we get stuck in a rigidity of intellect and emotion, whether you call it belief or whether you call it realization, it does far more harm than good. Then what is Buddhism? What if Buddhism was nothing more than simply practicing the Buddha's Eightfold Path? And what if enlightenment was nothing more than simply mastering the Buddha's Eightfold Path? As a child, I found the tying of my own shoes to be a befuddlement. Hello, Jay. As they say on Seinfeld, hello. So what if, as a child, I found the tying of my shoes to be a befuddling proposition? But with time and effort and instruction, by the time I got to first grade, I could tie those damn shoes spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. And so it goes with any skill. Any skill that can be practiced poorly could, under the right circumstances, be mastered. Whether that skill be playing an instrument or tying a shoe or cooking a meal or practicing the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We are already, due to a happy coincidence of evolution, we are already wired to master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Excuse me. Dreadfully sorry, my face appears to have exploded. Whew. Before we explore the finer details, let's take 30 seconds for housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible through the generosity of viewers just like you. Thank you. Oh, good reference, Kevin. This evening, let us return to Kind Gaze's easy meditation, described in Sanskrit as Avalokiteshvara, and in Tibetan as Chain Zig, who is Kind Gaze. For those stuck in the mire of rigidity, fear, and controlling tendencies, Kind Gaze is an entity to be worshipped and supplicated. However, from the point of view of those fortunate enough to traverse the path of being flexible, loving, and laid back, Kind Gaze is simply an archetype whose iconography reminds us that we are already wired to master, no less practice, awareness and letting go, love and letting go, as well as bliss and letting go. Thank you, Sir Kevin of Hayes, and your little kitty cats, too. Let us begin by practicing a bit of the old bliss and letting go. Please chant with me. Let us invite real or imagined Guru Avalokiteshvara to the crown of our head, that in the union of bliss and letting go we may train. During our inhalation, please silently. So we're going to take the concise supplication, Lama. Take two. We're going to take this metaphoric supplication and divide it in half, just like a Kit Kat bar. During the inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite Lama come. And during the exhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite to this crown. I'd like to do this for about 4 rounds. And I'm going to count it upon my left hand. I'm going to advance the tip of my left thumb during each inhalation. And if you wish, you're welcome to follow along. Let us begin with mindfulness, the 7th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. With each inhalation, we automatically access our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It has evolved to notice and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. It could be said that vulnerability is the key that unlocks the door of mindfulness. And we never feel quite as vulnerable as when we are naked. Perhaps that is why Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri are depicted as such. During our inhalation, let us kick back and watch the antics of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines, while silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our exhalation, let's relax into mind's non-graspable nature as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease, reminiscent of Diana Ross in The Wiz, reminding us to ease on down the road. So let's continue with an additional 12 rounds, a round being one inhalation followed by one exhalation. Oh, Kevin, you're going to make me cry. That's my favorite Michael Jackson role. Oh, my goodness. He did an amazing job, didn't he? Okay. From a certain point of view, let us explore the outer set of preliminary practices. May we note others' stress. Yes, during our inhalation, we can notice all manner of things: sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. But what do we do with them? We meditate, of course, which is the eighth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. During each exhalation, we automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. But what you might not know is that every time we inhale, in addition to noticing, we're also wired to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. So for this set of 12 rounds, during the inhalation, please silently and mentally recite the adjective tall. Let us sit nice and tall in a manner that would delight our grandmother. May our love help others. Now, do remember as we sit in meditation, even though occasionally I will lift my hands in front of the camera, it's most ergonomically sound to rest your hands in your lap. Whether or not there is a loved one sharing the lap at the time. Having climbed to contemplative cruising altitude together as a team, let us meditate as profoundly as Ahsoka Tano on Lothal. Seeing change fuels release. Kevin, I don't remember that song. All I remember is Ease on Down the Road. That's all I got. Flowing free and centered. That was a long time ago when I saw that. I didn't see that. I saw that in the late 70s. Oh, gotcha. Oh, on YouTube? Oh, I would love to watch that again. Thank you. The inner set of preliminary practices is inspired by the final meditation of Dzampo Trul Rinpoche, titled, or which could be translated as the heart treasure of the enlightened ones, which is absolutely lauded, which is enthusiastically praised by the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Let us lovingly wish to free all from 3 poisons. In fact, that's kind of vague, so let's chant together. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever. Hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the 3 mental poisons. Kevin, who is the British director who gave us Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, and Snatched, and Revolver, and The Gentleman, and Rock and Rolla? Really, really like that director. What's his name? Guy Ritchie. By the end of the month, they're going to take Revolver off of Netflix. So if you're a fan, watch it while it's there. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of others be fueled by our reliance on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels. But of course you do. Well done, you. Rather than squander our time and energy in defensiveness, how much wiser could it be to learn our mistakes and lessons that effortlessly flow from mindfulness and meditation centered spontaneity? A life squandered in competition and greed leads not to peace and fulfillment. Better to live in cooperation and generosity. And loves and may this mind shoot out crowns, purifying, multiplying, and offering my stuff to all beings of nirvana and samsara. Let us invite real or imagined Lama Chenrezig to our heart mind, that in the union of bliss and letting go we may train. Let us view letting go through a philosophical lens as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. All circumstances or thoughts could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Oh, yes, by the way, Kevin, something you asked the other day and I I was unclear in my answer, so give me a moment, if you please. Both this bit here that looks like a kiwi, which is known as the something basal ganglia, not to be confused with pasta, basal pasta. Not to be confused with what's it called? What do you call it? Begins with P, put basil in it. Anyway, so this kiwi bit and this cauliflower bit have overlapping responsibilities. They both deal a lot with coordination and balance and stuff like that. I'm guessing, and this is completely unfounded, it would not surprise me. I take it back. I really don't know why we have redundant systems for gross motor skills, but we appear to. This is the cerebellum, this is the basal ganglia. Anyhow. Thank you. It's delicious. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. Together. I invoke the wish of hurling money, jewel of love, and the purifying beamy lotus of letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. Let us bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized and where it is jealousy that is leapt over. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these words of love in harmony with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a clay, one syllable seed or Bija mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by the 6-syllable mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Devi or Yadama, an archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. May all circumstances or thoughts. So before we get into this, let us cherish in our hearts those enduring the slings and arrows, the horrendous misfortune of genocide, be they Palestinian or Congolese or Jordanian. Let us bear in mind, let us bear our hearts to those suffering from jingoism, fascism, sexism, racism, classism. May all circumstances of all beings, may all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vaulty. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let his view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness. Oopsie, I'm supposed to talk, not chant. Into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized and where it is pride that is leapt over. Let us accept the rigidity that confuses metaphors for literal statements and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid, yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as no graspable or what is a real or imagined archetypal yidam of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined mantra of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we inhale, we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined bija seedable of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imaginable gaussities, mustard seeds, cinema of green lights. As we relax into our exhalation, the area behind the navel that we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined above us, mustard seeds, high syllable drum of gold lines. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chest we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined exopias, mustard seeds, high syllable hung of balloon light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever throat we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined amitabhas, mustard seeds, high syllable tree of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chronoscope we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined Vairochanas, mustard seeds, high syllable of white light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of beauty or ugliness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply seeing. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of discord or harmony we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply hearing. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of how or fragrant we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply smelling. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of disgusting or delicious we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simple flavor. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of pain or pleasure we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simple sense. Let us transcend the illusion of samsara nirvana's vertical duality by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, their paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of duality's awareness and non-duality's release. Om mani mimi yung 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung 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 om mani. Oopsie, got a little carried away yet again. Om mani mimi yung mani mimi yung om mani mimi yung mani mimi yung om mani mimi yung mani mimi yung om mani mimi yung mani mimi yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us seal this evening's practice by percussively chanting loving wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void now be as enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable bijam. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void now be as loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by a multi-syllable mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void now be as healthy as a Yidam archetype depicted in Buddha's statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void now be as fortunate as a pure land of lore depicted in Buddhist paintings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.